This is an indoor circuit board of an LG ductable air conditioner. Here is its PCB number. The customer also sent us its wired remote control, which is also having issues. One issue with this PCB is that its fuse has blown. Another problem is that its output supply to the compressor relay is continuously running. As soon as the power is turned on, the relay switches on continuously. This is one of the faults in it. The second fault is with its screen. It keeps blinking and is not stable. Now I'll show you how it blinks. For this, we will connect the remote control here using the connector point CNREMO. I have installed this connector here. The customer did not send any sensor or any other additional parts with it. Now I'll show you what is happening in this. This is the CN power connector that is attached here. Right now on the right side we have the line pin. The center one is the neutral pin, and the last one I think is the output pin. I'll check it to confirm. This is the relay. This is its positive pin, and this relay point here is the negative point. And this is its main point. And here the electricity is on standby. When the system energizes the relay, that same electricity moves and comes to this point, and this connects to the third pin. I prepared a special connector for this. I've attached it here. Now I will give it power, line and neutral properly. As soon as I supplied electricity, you can see its display turned on, and all the programs in the display have started blinking. Now I have done some research on how we can fix this. So now I'll press its on-off button. As you can see, turning it on or off doesn't make any difference. We're also not able to set or run any program on it. You can see operation and time. Okay, so I think it is trying to set some program, but then it completely shuts down. When we turn it on, you can see this red light is turned on. Now we'll also have to check why this red light came on. You can see earlier this red light wasn't working, but now it is, and its display has completely disappeared. Now I'm trying to turn it on again, and as you can see, the display didn't appear. Here it has a reset button. Let's click it and see, maybe there's some setting in it. You can see when I press this reset button, some numbers appear here and then disappear. So let's check what the issue is. Its SMPS has a fault because the system is running, but the fault is still present here. This capacitor you can see here, it's the SMPS capacitor, and physically it has swollen a little because when it reaches this condition, the capacitor becomes disturbed internally. Then it can no longer properly charge and discharge, which can cause problems further in the system. So first of all, we will fix these faults. And secondly, this relay is turning on directly. Let's also find out the reason behind that. So here we will use a multimeter. I've set the multimeter to continuity mode. Now we will turn this PCB over. So this is the relay for the compressor, located here. This is its input point and this is its output point. The electricity moves from the input point and comes to the output point. Now we'll check this in continuity mode. Here continuity is present, which means that this relay is stuck from the inside. Now first of all, we will take this out from here. We'll replace the fuse and the capacitor, and then after that we will move on to check the rest of the circuit board. So I have taken out this capacitor. This capacitor is 15 microfarads and rated at 500 volts. So we will have to install a capacitor with the same rating, because if we use one with less than 500 volts, it will blast immediately. If the microfarad value is slightly lower or higher, it won't make much difference. I'm mentioning this because right now I have two types of capacitors available. I don't have a 15 microfarad capacitor available, but I do have a 22 microfarad capacitor rated at 500 volts, and that is perfectly fine. And the other one I have is 10 microfarads, also 500 volts. Out of these two, I will install the blue one here, because the microfarad value can be slightly higher, but it should not be lower. But even that doesn't make too much difference. A 10 microfarad one will also work. Now I'll check whether there is enough space here or not. The capacitor's negative and positive sides must be installed properly, otherwise the capacitor will burn out immediately. Let's see if we have enough space. As you can see, the space is properly available. This diode has come down a bit, so I'll lift it slightly to prevent it from being disturbed. Then we'll solder the capacitor right here. Now it's time for this relay. Let's take out this relay from here. So I've taken out this relay. Now we will check this relay again and see whether it is really faulty or not. Let me check these two pins to see whether continuity is coming here or not. I connected it here to check. And it keeps working, which means it has gone bad. Now in this, we have two very important things. First, this relay must be operated on 12-volt DC. The second important part is that this relay can handle 5 amps at 250 to 275 volts. So we'll get a new relay of the same type. His relay is 12-volt operated and can handle a 5 amp load at 250 AC volts. So this relay is perfectly suitable for us. As you can see, here are both relays and both have the exact same pins. Now let's check this relay. As you can see, it is showing continuity. And when we check this other relay, it is off. There is no continuity at all, so at this point we'll install the relay. Relay is properly fitted now. Now we will solder it. Now we will double check it. You can see there is no continuity here, which means the fault was in the relay. Now we'll replace this fuse. I'm taking it out. And here we will install a 3.1 amp fuse. I have the fuse with me, so I'll install it now. Now we have fixed a few things, so I'll give it power again. Now I'll supply the power. As you can see, the display is blinking in the same way as before. Now I'll set it up. So this PCB is now completely fixed. Now I'll turn on its display and show you, and I'll also explain what the issue in the display was. But now I'll show you by testing it, whether it has really been fixed or not. Now I'm giving power to the system. I've turned it on and you can see the display has appeared. Notice that it's no longer blinking and it immediately started functioning properly. Now if I press its on-off button, you can see the green light turns on and the temperature sign has started appearing. And now at the same time, CHO1 has started appearing and the red light has also turned on. Now since this error has appeared here, that's why the problem is occurring. Let me explain to you what this error means. Now CHO1 means that inside the indoor unit, when the gas circulates and returns back to the compressor, there is also a sensor installed there. This measures how much temperature is being shown on that sensor at the time, but since the sensor isn't present there and everything is open, that's why the CHO1 error is appearing. Now let's talk about how I repaired its remote. There are a few points I couldn't record in the video because the customer kept calling, asking me to return the PCB quickly. That's why I had to skip recording those parts. So what I did was completely open the remote. Then when I checked it at different points, I found the condition of this remote to be quite good. In fact, the voltages in it were perfectly fine. From this, I found out that the power PCB and the remote each use separate EEPROMs. That's why I strongly suspect that its EEPROM is faulty for some reason. Although I removed this EEPROM from here, completely dismantled it, and checked it in the programmer, it was functioning normally without any issues. But what I did was replace this EEPROM with a new one. After replacing it, I copied the program from the old EEPROM and pasted it into the new one, then reinstalled it into the system. Now after I installed it back into the system and checked the result, it was working perfectly. Our remote was also completely fine. So this was the reason why the remote was malfunctioning earlier.